Oh, yeah. Doing the best I can, Martha.
Oh, you're great. Thank you very much. Good to see you. So here now with more tonight, Republican Senator James Lankford. He sits on the Senate Intelligence Committee. Senator, welcome. Good to have you with us tonight as well. You know, with regard to this issue of leaks, we've heard a lot from the administration and a lot of concerns about deep state leaks, as they have been calling them, that people who are Obama holdovers in these intelligence agencies are putting things out there, even that the Mueller investigation has leaked a little bit of what they're looking into when it comes to President Trump and his finances. What's your take on that? How serious is that part of this investigation, and how much attention is being given to it?
It's extremely serious, and that is a very important part of this investigation. It's something that President Obama dealt with during his presidency. There was a season where there were a lot of leaks that were coming out of the Intel Committee. He had to aggressively take that on to be able to push back to try to stop it. We've got to get that stopped now. These individuals that maybe are holdovers from the previous administration, or individuals that just want to be able to get their version of the story out, are leaking out parts of the story but holding back other parts of it to gain some sort of political advantage. That's incredibly toxic. But what it signals is to all of our partners around the world that help us in intelligence gathering, don't share with the United States because this information may be leaked out, or if you're a source, they're constantly afraid that their information or their identity may be leaked out. That hurts us in our national security. So this is not just a political issue, this is a national security issue that we need to be able to make sure that we keep America protected. The way that we do that is to be able to gather information internationally, and that needs to be guarded.
All right, so in terms of Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General, and you've watched what's going on here, there are about 10 senators who have come out and basically said to the president that they don't want him to be fired, that they think that would be a big mistake. Where do you stand on that?
I think that'd be a big mistake as well. Again, the people that work for me and around me, if I have a problem, we sit down in my office and we get a chance to talk it through and to be able to settle it. I don't go to the media to be able to resolve those issues. I just don't think that's the right way to be able to resolve it. The president has access to every person on his staff at any time that he wants to visit with them. And if he has an issue with Jeff, he should certainly call him in and sit down and say, let's try to resolve whatever issues may need to be there. But Jeff Sessions firmly inside of the law. The law does not allow him to be involved in the Russia investigation because of his role during the campaign. He needs to recuse himself, should recuse himself, but that doesn't mean the investigation is going to be unfair. They're going to go after facts, try to deal with the facts. And what Brit Hume was saying before, that Jeff Sessions is not the president's personal goalie, could not be more true. He has to be able to actually implement the law. So he's putting in U.S. attorneys around the country. He's working with the criminal cases that are happening. He's putting together issues on religious liberty in the administration. He's doing what the Attorney General needs to do, and needs to be allowed to do that. And if the president's lost trust in him, resolve it.
He's getting a lot of support from you all on the Hill. Thank you very much, Senator. Always good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you as well.
So the president says that he was listening to his generals when he announced this